All right, cool. So there's verse 2. Um yeah, verse 2 is essentially like a beefed up version of verse 1, but with just like a different vocal melody. Again, he's good about that, changing the vocal melodies up to keep, ooh, excuse me, to keep things interesting. So yeah, right off the bat, the drums are back with the snare roll, with the emphasized hits on the 2 and the 4 still, which keeps the beat, keeps it going. It's not just like a total snare roll. I think he does a total snare roll at the bridge, actually. Yeah, so that's a more like normal snare roll, whereas here you can tell that the snare is being emphasized on certain beats in order to still keep that pop punk groove going. I feel the heat on my skin, but I don't care if it hurts. Yeah. Right? So yeah, it's cool. But again, we're back to that motif. They didn't have to do that there. They could have just gone to like a regular pop punk drum, do ba do ba do ba. But by keeping that snare in, it's they're turning it from the one time thing into a full on motif in the song. Um, I did want to discuss this for a second because I think that sometimes the instruments in songs gets overlooked, like they're just there for filler. Um, on the contrary, I actually think that the instruments are what separate music from just being poetry, right? And they are what can provide a song a lot of its character. And what I mean by that is think about like your favorite song or think about a song that you really like, right? Um, I'll give an example. I really like Nightmare by Avenged Sevenfold. So when you think about a song that you really like, there's almost like this image that comes into your head of the song. There's this visualization that you get. Um, and a lot of times and what that usually is like the combination not just of the lyrics and the vocals but also the mood and the weather of the song. I really that's a quote from Sinister Gates' dad, actually, is that when you're writing music, create your own weather. Or no, sorry, when you're writing like a guitar solo, what's usually most important is the music around the guitar solo, not just the solo itself. So if you have a really boring background music, like if it's just really normal cliche background music, your guitar solo, as interesting as it is probably going to have a tough time being like really standing out. Whereas, what the quote is create your own weather. And that means like you are actually creating the environment with which you are going to perform your solo or your lyrics or whatever it is, right? So I've always liked that quote. I think it's a good one. If you want a rainy day, pick that. If you want a sunset, write that. If you want a sunshiny day, clouds in the sky, write that. So you create the weather of your song. I think it's a little bit better of a word than vibe. Everyone says vibe now about everything, the vibe, but all of this is to say that when you have a song that you really like and you're thinking about it in your head, there's an image or a picture or something that comes into your head that really like emphasizes it. And a lot of that is typically influenced by the actual instruments themselves. So it's hard for me to, when I think of Nightmare, immediately I think of like creepy, dark, moody atmosphere, blue nighttime sky with the moon hanging over it. This isn't just because that's what's on the album cover. The song itself starts with like this creepy music box, and then with these swirling guitars, and then it bursts in with like these really gnarly guitar harmonies. It's a very tense atmosphere at the beginning of the song when there's no vocals. Obviously the vocals set up the mood, as the song goes on, but every time there is an instrumental section, it's really dark and really moody. So what I mean is like these musical elements are typically what give the song its character and set the mood or the vibe or the weather or the energy or whatever you want to call it in your head when you think of it. So when they're writing a song like this called Vampire Diaries, which is about being a vampire trapped in a small town and the restlessness, and they decide we're going to do this, snare roll motif, and it's actually going to be something that we do throughout the song because it captures the restlessness, it captures the high school drama vibes of it, marching band, it captures the pop punk energy that we want to have too, and it accomplishes these goals. So it's working with the themes of the song as well. It's not just random. the song now has character. So when you think of this song, when I think of this song now, I actually think of the snare roll. You know, maybe not explicitly, but like that comes into mind, that like like that school marching band sound. And so the point is that these musical elements that you choose, you can just do nothing. They didn't have to do this. It could have just been a generic, you know, pop punk beat, right? But by being selective with it and choosing the right musical elements, they actually give the song character, which is good. It's good. It's That's how you write a good song, right? Like that's what you want to see. Um, you know, I do want to emphasize, like, this isn't necessarily like mind blowing stuff, right? Like, it's a snare roll. It's not crazy. But uh compared to some artists who don't give a damn about their music and they just kind of have it's like background noise to them, it's good. And honestly, if I'm just keeping it real, compared to how like caveman brained MGK's first single was, Cliche, this is like light years ahead of that. This is a huge improvement, because Cliche was terrible, and you know, that song to me had no character. So yeah, good stuff. We like to see it.